It's been a long time since we had such massive weeks in the space game genre. We've got releases happening all over the place, which means hundreds of hours worth of space-focused gameplay. Today then, we're going to dive into that and have a look at exactly what's been going on. Perhaps one of the best ever combat-spaced shooters, Everspace 2, is now available as a full release. Now this has been in early access for a while, but the full version has just about everything you could possibly want. Now we've got multiple star systems here, many of them which are absolutely stunning to look at. You can access these through a free-form flight. The star systems themselves are linked via jump gates. Each star system contains many planets and many space stations, many other objectives, side missions, as well as of course a main lengthy campaign of around about 30 hours. Now the focus of Everspace 2 is very different to the original. Those of you who have played the first game will remember that Everspace was a roguelike. The sequel is not such a thing, instead it is a fully open world space RPG. You take on the role of Adam, who is investigating his past as well as the various mysteries that are going on around the galaxy. Now to do this you have access to a multitude of ships. You can fly just one of these at any one time, but they range from scouts to fighters to interceptors to bombers, as well as anything in between. There's a whole range of ships going on, all of which can be fully customized, both visually as well as in terms of weapons and modules that you can equip. Further, many such modules can be crafted from the resources that you find on your adventures. These can come from mining, they can come from harvesting crystals, harvesting aliens that you can find in space, as well as of course destroying the respective enemies that are located throughout the galaxy. Now one thing I've really enjoyed about Everspace 2 is the sheer frantic pace of the combat. For those of you into that sort of thing, it is very arcadey, but it's also extremely fun. The developers Rockfish have said that the intention of their game is to create a space-focused looter shooter, so if you like the type of games like Diablo but would love to see that in a space setting, maybe even something a little bit like Borderlands, then this may well be for you. What's more, not only is this a space-based adventure, but you can also visit the surface of planets, and there is a heck of a variety here. Some planets are simply rocky environments, other planets are water worlds. Just look at this, some really stunning environments. There's also a fire lava world which is nice, as well as some massive city-focused inspired space stations. Now as with the other titles I'm going to talk about throughout this video, this isn't a deep dive review, instead of it's a broad overview. Now if you do want more details on Everspace 2, you can check out my previous videos on the game. I've covered it extensively throughout its early access period. And one thing I do want to highlight about that is the developers have been truly amazing during that period. They released a whole load of content, they were extremely open about the game's design and were always in constant communication with the player base. This is early access as it truly should be done. What's more, Everspace 2 does have a free demo. You can check that out on Steam. I'll make sure to link it in the video description below so you can test it out before you make that purchase. Either way, this is an exceptional space shooter, one of the best in fact. Moving away from arcade space shooters and into the realm of space sims, we have X4 Kingdom End. Now this is the latest expansion to X4 Foundations. The update is going to be releasing next week on the 12th of April and is the fourth expansion to X4. It starts off with a massive story focusing on an inactive jump gate which has started behaving in a mysterious way. This has sent ripples of concern throughout the community, and therefore the greatest minds of the galaxy have come forward to try and solve this strange mystery. Additionally, the expansion focuses on a new faction, or an old faction making a return, the Boron. This means that X4 will finally be complete with the 4 major factions from the X universe. Further, this introduces the new Boron ships. These are strange organic looking designs that feel both shell-like as well as living, truly beautiful looking ships actually, and they wouldn't feel out of place in a barrier reef. They do look really nice. I think these are some really original designs for space focused content for spaceships. Lovely stuff. Now the ships come in all sorts of sizes, that includes carriers and destroyers as well as regular ships. And don't forget that as a part of X4 you can walk around the interior of ships. It does come with space legs and the ability to not only walk around in space stations but also throughout your ships as well, and interact with the various crew members as well as NPCs dotted throughout the galaxy. Now X4 is a single player focused space game, just like Everspace was mentioned earlier. Both are single player games. This means that you are free to explore the galaxy as you want. It truly is a massive galaxy and everything is at your fingertips. The main focus of X4 is empire building. You can completely have your own fleet of ships here, whether these are carriers, whether they are true warships. You basically set up your own empire. This can be a massive trading hub, or you can become the fear of the galaxy, extending your tendrils of empire control across the galaxy. So, if you want a traditional space-focused game with all the trappings of exploration, trading, combat, bounty hunting, piracy, mining, then X4 is an amazing game to take a look at. And the latest expansion is just going to add to that and make it all the more richer. What would a massive month in space game be without a surprising or unexpected release for No Man's Sky? The latest update is called Interceptor, and you guess it, it introduces a new Interceptor focused ship. In fact, a whole multitude of them, as these are procedurally designed. Now the idea here is that the Interceptors are essentially focused on Sentinel technology. The Sentinels are the guardians of the galaxy, the robotic guardians that you can find dotted throughout planets as well as throughout space. So you can now hijack their technology, take their ships, use various resources and do much more. This will open up an entire new layer of the game for those people who already have pretty much everything. Now not only that, you can also find some changes have been made to planets. This comes in the form of strange corruption. You can see these rather awesome looking crystals that can be found all over various planets. Additionally, planets with these that have been corrupted in this sort of way now have corrupted guardians. So new forms of the Sentinels there, and these will no doubt cause you many problems. Further, these planets enable new resources that will allow you to construct new buildings, find crashed interceptors, access secret equipment, as well as a variety of other things as well. But of course, the title of the game, the title of the update, Interceptor, is where everything is. Here you're going to find a whole range of different designs for your ships, and I think this is going to be pretty interesting as you try and customize one ship to make it all powerful, or maybe access an entire fleet of ships, build an entire fleet of ships, all of them procedurally designed, meaning that you'll have a massive range of ships to look at. Now keep in mind that when it comes to procedural design, sometimes this can result in rather weird looking things, but No Man's Sky, Hello Games really do seem to have this down to a fine art, and many of the ships really do look stunning, almost handcrafted in many respects. So yeah, just because these are procedurally generated, don't assume that they're going to look dumb, daft, or just not very good, because they actually do look really nice. Pretty amazing, eh? This has been a few wonderful months for space games. We've had a lot of news on Starfield, and we know that an event is coming up in June. So where is that? That's just a few months away at this point. We've had the release of Kerbal Space Program 2, which unfortunately was a bit of a botched release, and the game still isn't in ideal conditions, far from it in fact, but the developers there, Intercept Games, are working on it very hard. So two major aspects of space games updates there, not to mention what we've just discussed in this video as well. Everspace 2, brand new space game, in my opinion the best space shooter on the market, arcade focused of course, but a lot of RPG aspects on there, a very fun game. And if you want to dive into more of a space sim styled game, a traditional game with all the exploration focused content, the empire building focused content, trading, piracy and all the rest of it, then X4 will certainly be the way to go there. And of course, as we just discussed, No Man's Sky just received a massive update as well. Also, not to be outdone, Elite Dangerous is having an update in May. Update 15 is going to expand the Thargoid War and bring with it some other unspecified content, hopefully expanding the game itself and giving us some more insight as to what's going on with the Thargoids. So some very, very busy weeks for space games. A lot of going on. Hundreds of hours of gameplay there, no doubt. It's going to be tough to keep up with all of this. Do let me know what your plans are for all of this content over the coming weeks and the coming months. What game is the one that you're going to dive into? Let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.